This is an overused cliche in the broadcast world, but in this situation, it applies. It'd be tough to draw this main event up better. Storylines are oozing from every corner. Division rivals, student versus master, number one versus number two. Welcome to Austin-Tindall Sports Complex in Kissimmee, Florida, in the shadow of the Orlando International Airport for the NCCAA Soccer National Championships. I'm Kyle Bond. We've crowned a Women's Division II champion, a Women's Division I champion, and a Men's Division II champion, all earlier today. Now in primetime, one title left to claim, the Division I men. Top-seeded Bethel University against second-seeded Grace College. So, how did we reach this high-powered matchup? Marcelo Talamas and Ulysses Miranda, that combination for Grace College has led the way. They're a goal against Central Christian in the 74th minute in a 4-1 win. Now, here's Ulysses Miranda, a pair for him here, as you'll see, against Carolina University here from Zane Maria Gonçalves. That is going to be a constant theme. That gave them a win in Pool B, and then Miranda again here with the lone goal in a testy 1-0 win in the semifinals over Campbellsville. That brought them here. For their lineup, you see Marcelo Talamas and Ulysses Miranda are in there. This is a very deep Grace team. We'll see the lineup for the top-seeded Bethel Pilots. As you see here, Jose Barquin, the leading striker. He'll lead the lines with a hat trick against Dallas Christian earlier and a goal against Bethesda. Good to see him in the lineup. It seems he has recovered from what looked to be a potentially nasty hamstring injury in the semifinal as they topped Erskine in that game. Also, the center back partnership of Richard Ontiveros and William Dos Santos has been nearly perfect in this tournament. I say nearly perfect. The only goal they've conceded thus far came on what was really some trickeration by Erskine on a free kick at the beginning of their semifinal. That was it. They took the kick while the goalkeeper was still setting the wall. The referee allowed it. That is the only goal that they have allowed. Otherwise, they have combined to top everyone in the competition, a combined 19-1. This top-seeded Bethel side is well drilled, they are well formulated, and they have a lot of quality up and down the roster. For Grace College, their formation is an interesting one, and that will be one of the many storylines here tonight. A 3-4-3. Now, that can be broken down into a lot of different ways. The key with the three at the back formation is that the wingbacks have a lot of running to do. Defensively, it ends up 5 at the back usually. On the attack, they can move forward, but the 3-4-3 allows the wingers to take over a lot of that attacking responsibility from the wingers so they don't have to do as much running. Booted out. Bethel's Ellis Jones doing some defensive work there, back from his midfield spot. You will see these Grace wingers crop up often. There's the first shot of the game. It's on target but simple for Arnaud Fady in goal for Bethel. Those wingers, the most notable one, the one charging down the ball there, as you saw before Fady took the kick, Zé Maria Gonçalves, Portuguese winger, sophomore, has cropped up in numerous occasions all tournament long, both off the bench and in the starting lineup. He is an assist machine. He sets the table for Ulysses Miranda and Marcelo Talamas to feast up front. This is a very deep Grace team as well. Lots of options off the bench. They use a whole number of substitutes. So we'll keep track of that for you. Nearly up the line. Put out of play by João Victor de Oliveira, one of a number of Brazilians on this Bethel University team. We welcome you to the broadcast wherever you may be watching and listening across the world. This is a pair of lineups with a host of different nationalities across the field. We know for sure that we have some folks watching from Germany, thank you, as well as anyone else joining us from all across the world. There are Italians, English, Germans, Brazilians up and down the field, Portuguese, French on both teams. Stolen away. Here is Gonçalves. Cuts it back and sends it into the middle. This Grace team has controlled much of the early possession. There's a push in the back by Tim Nading, one of the Germans on the field, a freshman who has scored twice this tournament. His free kick was what sealed the deal against Erskine. 5 minutes gone by. Possessionally, it's been mostly Grace College so far in this game. Bethel knows how to play with much of the possession, but Grace is up to the task as well. Good little 1-2 combination. Sliding challenge sends it out. Ellis Jones again defensively on that far side. Bethel bunkered in for now. Nading came out to try and force a mistake. Grace so far looks sharp. Sent in. Here's Gonçalves. Now to the right. Cuts back to the Portuguese. Tried to tap once and get by a defender. Lost it though. Bethel still cannot get out of its own half. Now here's a chance to break. McCray Smith snatches it away, but his pass for Nading is off the mark. Out of play, that will be a Pilot's throw, and here may be the first chance for them to build a possessional advantage of their own. Throw comes into Nading. He crops up all over the field. Nading, a very Kevin De Bruyne-like player. All down to the bleach blonde hair. Bethel player, or excuse me, a Grace player goes down. That's Miranda. Referee is going to have an early chat with some of these Bethel players. He is going to take no nonsense in this Division I national championship game. There's an early talking to for Mateus Santiago. Isaac Nunez was also in there to get a little bit of heat. These big games can get very tense, especially when they're evenly matched. Speaking of evenly matched, these two teams played each other earlier in the year because they are Crossroad League's rivals. They come from the same area and the same division, so they know each other well. That game turned out to be a 1-0 win for Bethel. Thin margins between these two teams. Why? Well, glad you asked. Grace College head coach Aaron Patrick played for Bethel in his playing collegiate days for the Bethel head coach, Tiago Pinto. So these two teams, personnel-wise, know each other well. As I mentioned in the intro, student versus master. Quick throw by Grace. They want to push the tempo. Gunshavish. Referee says the ball was earned on that foul. Bit of a wayward elbow there. Santiago earned the foul. TJ White, the guilty party. There has been a heightened emphasis in the pro ranks to root out those wayward elbows during passages of play. There have been harsher punishments recently for those, yellow and even red cards issued, oftentimes with the help of replay systems like VAR that are available only to the top professional ranks. Sometimes it's hard to catch those during the normal course of action. That one here in the middle of the field was a relatively harmless incident. Nice little dummy, 1-2, Gunshavish and White. So that's Jordan Jayapuram in the lineup for Grace, wearing the number 10. Shot is blocked. That's Miranda, the prolific goal scorer, leading goal scorer for this Grace College team, and it goes out for a corner. First corner of the game. The NCCAA network is powered by SCORE International. SCORE specializes in short-term mission trips. Pair your passion with the opportunity to share the gospel both internationally and domestically by joining SCORE on a short-term mission trip. Visit scoreintl.org/NCCAA to find out more. Deep delivery on that corner, just a bit too far. Jayapuram dancing around on the ball. Guarded by Nading. Shielded well by Nading. Tried to feed his teammate Gunshavish over there. Went out of play. Snatched back by Jules Pacelon for Grace. The Lancers have controlled the opening minutes here in this game. And we have a stoppage in play. Looks like the ball has lost some air pressure, so they're going to get a new one. All of a sudden, it's too many on the field. Ref says this one will do. Grace controls, and we're back underway. Deep ball up the right. Pacelon the target. This Grace team is extremely flexible positionally. Pacelon generally a central midfielder playing there on the wing. Jose Maria Gunshavish, you see him all over the field. Ulysses Miranda, Marcelo Talamas, all these guys are extremely flexible on the field. Even you saw Jordan Jayapuram all the way on the far side on the touchline, trying to work a 1-2 with his strike partner in Gunshavish. Good charge by Bethel. Still a Grace throw, though. They tried to go deep for Miranda. Nading has the ball. Bethel has had precious few possessions in this game. Although we're only approximately 13 minutes in. Plenty of game to be played. Plenty of time for Bethel to collect time on the ball. Now down the right. giving chase. Sent into the box. Dicey defending by Grace. That was deflected on its way in. The turn and fire is over the top. Jose Barquin, his first opportunity on goal. Mentioned Barquin came off again in the game against Erskine about halfway through. Did not return after what looked to be like having yanked his hamstring. So it's a positive for Grace, or for Bethel, excuse me, that he is able to start just one day later. Here comes Grace. A little bit of pushing and shoving. And now Bethel on the counterattack. Up the left, Santiago sends it up for Nading. Nading back to Santiago, just out of reach. Joe Bowles, the goalkeeper for Grace, the junior from London, commanding his area well. Now down the other end, last-ditch defending. It's all happening on both ends. Oliveira came in to slide and make that challenge. Goncalves was looming. Bethel doing its best to clear its lines. Goncalves on his natural right wing side. Jayapuram. White dancing around Tim Nading with his back to goal. Forced to send it back to his defensive unit. 15 minutes gone by in this game. Still a half hour to play in the first half. There are goals in this game. Touched on the left. Grace wanted a handball. Possible counter opportunity there for Gian Frasinetti of Forlì, Italy. But he wins a corner. It's the first corner of the game for Bethel, the number 1 seed in this NCCAA Men's Division I National Championship Tournament. Tim Nading will go and take this corner. He is the set piece specialist for Bethel. Actually, Nading is the short option. It is not him actually taking the corner. They have played a number of these short, but it looks like they're going to take this one long. Deep and across the box. Saved by Oliveras. Now sent in from the opposite end. Headed away. Counterattack chance for Grace College. 2 on 3 with one more trailing. There he goes, Miranda, around one defender, around a second, still on the ball. With the spin, feeds to the right. Chance for the Lancers. There's the opening goal. 17 minutes in. Grace is on top of the number 1 seed. Excellent delivery from Miranda after having controlled the break all the way from back to front. And it is Felipe Gruber to put it in the back of the net. Substitutes abound for this Grace College team. They are so deep. Players who have started in some, sit in others. Players who sit in others have started in some. Felipe Gruber, a substitute for most of this tournament, makes his mark early in this game, 17 minutes in the opening strike. Ulysses Miranda, though, did all the work. What a fabulous counterattack by Ulysses Miranda. The key moment of that opening goal was him carrying it through 2, maybe 3 defenders. Controlled by the hand there. Referee going to have a chat now with Richard Ontiveros of South Bend, Indiana, who is a little bit feisty there with Felipe Gruber. They shake it off. Ontiveros with the captain's armband for Bethel. He and his center back partner in Dos Santos both have those green armbands. Thrown in by McCray Smith. This Bethel team knows how to play with possession. They have for most of this tournament. It is against their style of play to be bunkered in and defending for significant portions of time. They've had to do so for much of the first 15 minutes, and now down a goal, they will likely come out of their shell and try to press the issue. Here's a corner from this side, nading to take this one. It'll be a right-footed in-swinger. Good delivery to the far post. Dos Santos came flying in just over his head. Now Grace with another break. It's Gonçalves. Left foot. He's going to send it across. That's Miranda. Just an awkward delivery to begin with. Miranda saves it. He wants to calm things down. Nice flick. Now sent in. Cleared away by the Pilots. Break forward. Sent into the middle. Ho, ho, ho. That was a chance gone by for Grace up front. Sent deep by the Frenchman. Arnaud Fady in goal for Bethel. Pilots trying to get out of their own half. Every time Grace gets on a counterattack, it turns into a long spell of possession for them. That's how it's been through the first 20 minutes of this game. Willian. Sent ahead and stolen away. The Lancers just all over the field. Must feel like for Bethel right now that they're playing against 12 men. Nading. Gets it back. Just too deep. And it's blasted off Nading for a goal kick. Just 20 minutes of the 90. So lots of time to play. But so far in the early stages, it's all coming up Grace right now. See what Tiago Pinto and the Pilots have in store to try and turn the tide. Willian is there to snatch that pass away and take possession for Bethel. Turning in midfield is Nunez. He sends it back to the goalkeeper. A little bit of a misstep. Saw that in the Bundesliga just today. Goalkeeper for want to say Stuttgart sent one into his own net on a clearance by just losing the ball at his feet. Here comes Bethel. Nice pass up the left for Nading. He drags him just a little bit wider, though. He has work to do to get it back into the middle. Here's Smith. Ellis Jones. Jones looks to go up the line. He's got a blue shirt there. Still not in a great attacking position. Now goes all the way back to the corner flag and given away. That was Mateus Santiago who got sucked in towards the corner flag. That's not a spot you want to be as an attacker. Just nowhere to go. Dos Santos over to the far side. João Victor de Oliveira. Nunez. Ontiveros. And all the way back to the goalkeeper. Fady blasts it for Santiago. Santiago loses the ball through his feet. Had a chance to settle that. Just could not control it. Now it's the Lancers. Roped forward, giving chase is Miranda. It's too deep. Teams trading long balls at the moment. Nading. Through the line. Pace to the front. Here's a chance. Oh, it's missed. How did Jose Barquin not put that in the back of the net? An absolutely brilliant cross by Anu Alamanji off the bench. Right in the path of Jose Barquin. All he had to do was tap it into the far post, and Bethel would be level. That is the chance the Pilots were waiting for. And even if it didn't find the back of the net, it will still give them confidence that it's coming. Excellent pace by Alamanji down the right. And the delivery of the cross was absolutely pinpoint. How will the Lancers respond, knowing they probably should be back level? Foul given here. Referee continues to have words with Ontiveros, who is a very passionate defender. Gives his opinion on every call. This is a dangerous free kick chance for Grace. "20 minutes to go here in the first half. Left-footed entry feed to the far post. Popped up in the air off of Bethel head. Now sent back in and just turned away before it could get to the feet of Gonshavish. That's out to Bethel. The man to take the free kick was Johnny Mora, another one of those deep players on the Grace bench. Here is Mora to step in and take that back. Gruber, the goal scorer. Back to Mora. Left-footed drive over the bar. Well, after 26 minutes, it's only 1-0, but this game has already taken plenty of twists and turns. Grace pressing hard to battle every single ball carrier for Bethel. Here's a drag back. Alamanji wins the free kick. Smith. He goes for the switch of play. Alamanji, this will be tough for him to keep it in. He does. It's taken away by Grace, but just for a moment. Nading. Jones. Out to the right, Oliveira. Here's Alamanji. He created that last chance for Barkeen. And it goes out off Nading. New Alamanji, the sophomore from Bedford in the United Kingdom. Santiago rips a shot. That goes into row Z. Mateus Santiago, a prolific goal scorer for this Bethel squad. 8 goals in the regular season in his 11 games. How about this? 8 goals on 17 shots on target. That is a high-quality return for a striker up front. Grace sends it back to the back line. Nice little step. Jayapuram drags it back. Sent across by Corey Hamlin. That ricochets off a Bethel midfielder, and the Pilots, at least for now, can control. Heavy pressure, though. Nearly snatched away. Now it's into the box, but this will come and relieve the pressure on a foul. Ellis Jones was spilled to the turf. Santiago comes back to snatch that away. Potentially given away here by Bethel. Good slide by Mateus Santiago to retain possession. 16 minutes to go in the first half. Grace College with a 1-0 lead, but it does not feel safe at all. The game has devolved slightly since that Bethel chance went begging that Barkeen put wide. This has been a little bit of a sloppy last 5 or 10 minutes. A lot of giveaways that result in other giveaways. Quick throw by Grace. Far side of the box, it's sent back. Now taken away. This will be Bethel to try and break. Santiago sends it forward for Alamanji. Popped in the air to slow this counter. Now Nading. Nading up the right. Alamanji through the lines. He was dragged back. We'll see if the referee wants to have any more words with the defender who was called for this foul. He has not signaled for a stoppage of time, so this will likely not be a yellow card. No, he signals that it will not be. But this is a dangerous free kick for Bethel just outside the top left edge of the box. A new Alamanji was dragged back with the opportunity to break through and send in a cross. And with 15 minutes to go in the first half, let's see what Bethel can produce. Tim Nading already has a free kick goal in this tournament. He picked one up in the semifinal against Erskine. Thanks a little bit in part to some soft play by the Erskine wall. Loops this one in. He goes for goal. It's into the side netting. From this angle that we have here, sometimes that can look like it headed into the back of the net. But no. Just outside that near post. Wrapped deep by Joe Bowles. The Lancers on the ball. Pacelon, switch of play all the way to the far side. Manages to work for a moment. Past one defender, Oliveira whiffed. Headed away by William Dos Santos. Pacelon drives on net. Tipped over the bar. That one was a knuckler. And all Fady could do was send it out for a corner. Take another look. Willian with the header out. Pesalon sees he's got lots of space. Nobody closes him down, and he rips one on frame. The short corner taken. Goncalves, the header is missed. The chance, though. Rebound. It's 2-0. It's Gruber again. Felipe Gruber completely missed with his header attempt, and somehow the ball found its way back to his feet. And he said, "Thank you very much. Here, I'll take this," and wham, with the right foot, roofed it. And with 13 minutes to go, it's 2-0. For the first time this tournament, Bethel has been truly punched in the mouth. Bethel went behind early in the semifinal against Erskine, too, on that wacky free kick that was taken while Fady was still setting the wall. But they recovered and managed to produce a number of goals to advance through that game. Final score of 3-1 in that semifinal. Here, though, Grace managing to get a second truly puts Bethel on their heels. Nading in space. What can the Pilots produce here? Barkeen sends it to Alamanji. Nice step around the defender. Alamanji puts it in. Santiago is waiting. It's headed safely over the line for a corner. That is fabulous defending by, I believe, Hamlin. Corey Hamlin and David Koch in the middle of defense. Short corner option, Nading is there. He's going to take it with his right foot, loops it in. Santiago gets his head to it, but it's turned away. Nading shields to earn the throw. Nope, he keeps it in and loses it over the line. He thinks he may have earned a throw, but the referee disagrees. There's a substitution coming. Bit of a broadcaster gripe here. These Grace jerseys are utterly impossible to see the numbers on the backs or fronts of their jerseys thanks to the black and white stripes. So we'll get you who is on and off as soon as we can. Looks like Zé Maria Goncalves has come off momentarily. He is a key fixture in this Grace attack. Looks like Marcelo Talamas, who came off earlier, is back onto the field. For Grace, he replaces Goncalves. Before this game, Bethel won its first three games by a combined 19-1. And again, that one goal was really just a weird, wacky moment that Bethel was not ready for, not even playing at the moment. And it was a set-piece goal nonetheless. So really you could say from open play, they had pitched a shutout in this tournament so far. Suddenly, a pair of goals from Grace College has them on their heels. They had one glorious opportunity that Barkeen put wide, but otherwise, this Bethel attack has been utterly and completely shut down. And it's been defense by offense for Grace College, who is somewhat surprisingly, held most of the possession through this first half with 9.5 minutes remaining. Wonderful little move on the right by Talamis. His cross was rejected, and it comes back to his feet. Good defending by McCray Smith. Now he drives through the middle, and that one is booted out by Dos Santos. Tried to save it. That's Salifiagi Mugala. Talk about Grace having a deep bench. Bethel has a pretty deep bench too. It's not nearly as deep as Grace's. They leave their starters on for a lot longer, but these wingers in Alamanji and Mugala, who both come off the bench, provide quite the spark for this Bethel team. Eight and a half remaining. Santiago just barrels through a Grace College player. He lets it go. The referee has a foul. Looks like he tried to play advantage. Eventually pulled it back, and with 8 minutes to go, Bethel not only with an outlet here, but the potential for an attacking move. Standing over this is Ellis Jones, sophomore from Liverpool. He's a bit confused about something. Now we'll boot this with his right foot. That is a howitzer into the middle. Good header. Just not enough height on it to get it over the top of Joe Bowles. Any more height and length on that header, and he may have had a chance to find the top corner. Bowles is waiting for Barkeen to back off and give him some space. The referee finally asks for that as well. Barkeen with a drive into the attacking third. It's met by Dos Santos. Oliveira up the line. Foul called. This will go to the Lancers. Barkeen is whistled. It's all just a bit disjointed from Bethel in this game. We have not seen them pressured like this through the tournament yet. Center back Dos Santos is out there to pressure. That forces the Lancers back momentarily. In fact, now all the way back to defense. Here's Hamlin. Now Bowles again with his right foot drives it into the attacking half. Dos Santos to Ontiveros. McCray Smith, nice little turn. And again, but he's got to send it back. Dos Santos now through the middle. Nice dummy by Marquine. Here's Nading, sends it wide. Alamanji fakes the right-footed shot and then has to pull it back as Grace brings back numbers. Left-footed drive into the box. Turned away. Bit of physical play there by Mugala. Grace happy to possess the ball and send it back. Snatched away, though, Ellis Jones, and now he's spilled to the turf. Felipe Gruber, who's got a brace in this game, committed that foul. We'll see what Bethel can produce. Under 5 minutes to play. They take it quickly. Here's Nading. Sends it back to Jones. They tried to catch Grace off guard, but the Lancers were up to the challenge. Nading. Nice little flick. Right-footed shot. It comes to Nading. Very tight angle. He shoots. Cannot find the inside of the far post. Big chance there for Nading, but high degree of difficulty from down near the end line. Foul there. Jayapuram sent to the ground by Mugala. Jordan Jayapuram, a sophomore from New Zealand. Forgot to mention New Zealand in the bevy of countries that we talked about early on that are represented on this field. Good pressure by Barkeen. Looking to throw the Grace defenders off balance as they cycle possession around. 3 minutes to go in the first half. Alamanji turns into the middle, switches it for his fellow substitute in Mugala. Mugala chested it down and thought Barkeen was going to take control of that ball, then had to race back. He looks to Barkeen and says, hey, I thought that was going to be you. Grace happy to tick seconds off the clock here in the first half and try to get to halftime with just a 2-0 lead. I say just a 2-0 lead. That's not the word I was looking for. I say a commanding 2-0 lead it actually feels like in this game right now. Bethel wins the free kick, but they'll have to put it back in the correct position. Under 2 minutes to play now. No real sense of urgency here from Bethel. Still over half this game to play. And that blast goes over the head of Mugala. Mugala now whistled for the foul on Jayapuram, who's been hacked to the ground a few times in this game. Jules Pacelon sends it up the line. It's Marcelo Talamas wins a throw. Down near the corner flag. Tough area to be in. What a first half it's been for Grace. Up on the number 1 seed. A dominant Bethel side, at least that we've seen in this tournament so far, on a brace from Felipe Gruber. Racing through midfield goes the right back, Oliveira. This is out to Bethel. They've got to take it quickly. There's just 20 seconds to go. And the Grace sideline. Little bit of gamesmanship there. Sends the ball squirting out onto the field. 7 seconds to go. Hammered away. And that will do it for the first half. Well, we expected a close game. We expected an exciting game. I can't say we expected 2-0 Grace here in the first half, but that is where we are. A brace from Felipe Gruber, the Venezuelan. A pair of goals as the Lancers up by 2 and in a commanding lead. This Bethel team could strike at any time, but that was a toiling first half for the number 1 seed. Just one real opportunity on goal, and it was scuffed wide by Jose Barquin. Through on net, fed in by the substitute, Anu Alamanji, who delivered a perfect cross, but Barquin put it wide. That's been it for Bethel in the first half. They trail Grace 2-0 here on the NCCAA network.
One-week mission trip changed my life, and I think it could change yours too. For the past 35 years, SCORE International has been mobilizing others to go and make disciples of all nations. SCORE specializes in short-term mission trips that partner with a long-term sustainable ministry. We organize and lead trips that allow you to use your gifts and abilities for kingdom work. Contact us today to impact a life.
The NCCAA mission states, we serve members by setting association standards, developing communications resources, providing regional and national competition, and partnering in outreach to our communities and the world. Bylaws, eligibility, statistics, and championships are all part of being an athletic association. Our services help propel intercollegiate athletics on and off campus. We intentionally place our student athletes and coaches in Christian service projects during championship events to answer the question, what would Christ do in these communities?
Our world's been rocked by fear and economic uncertainty, but Columbia International University is praying for you. We invite you to invest in yourself by enrolling in our #1 rated online programs. We promise you an affordable, high-quality education and a place of peace. Enroll today.
The NCCAA mission states, we are committed to equipping student athletes and coaches to make a positive impact for Christ. Equipping student athletes and coaches involves the creation and distribution of tools and resources needed for a particular purpose. We promote outreach and ministry for the enhancement of athletic competition with a Christian perspective. One tool is Game Plan for Life, a character initiative to promote the biblical characteristics of love, integrity, faith, and excellence. Equipping student athletes with a game plan will remain with them throughout their entire lives.
Campus will help me to get a job, get my master's, to prepare myself for the world. It offers students a tremendous amount of opportunity to get real-world experience.
We see Christian students, non-Christian students. We see people from every walk of life.
It's such a good place to be.
It kind of reminds me of home. Your teachers actually look out for you here. You feel invited as soon as you walk in.
You're not going to find any better place to help students achieve what they want.
The NCCAA mission states, we are an association of Christ-centered collegiate institutions whose mission is to use athletic competition as an integral component of education, evangelism, and encouragement. The impact of the NCCAA has been felt for 50 years throughout the country and around the world. Encouraging mission trips is at the heart of this impact. We know short-term missions impacts everyone involved and changes the trajectory of lives. Sometimes it can affect the missionary as much or more than those being served. Our Sports Ministry Fund has supported more than 5,000 individuals via domestic and international missions. We exist not only to crown national champions, but to share the love of Christ wherever it is needed.
A one-week mission trip changed my life, and I think it could change yours too. For the past 35 years, SCORE International has been mobilizing others to go and make disciples of all nations. SCORE specializes in short-term mission trips that partner with a long-term sustainable ministry. We organize and lead trips that allow you to use your gifts and abilities for kingdom work. Contact us today to impact a life.
A very even first half, but the score line lopsided to one. Grace, a 2-0 lead on a brace by Felipe Gruber. As we take a look at your SCORE International halftime stats, SCORE specializes in short-term mission trips. Pair your passion with the opportunity to share the gospel both internationally and domestically by joining SCORE on a short-term mission trip. Visit scoreintl.org/NCCAA to find out more. The most important number, the 2 and the 0. That's your goal count, and has Grace up a pair. The shot count, relatively even. 7 actually to Bethel and 6 to Grace College. The corner count, 1 to the advantage of Bethel as well. And the fouls are 1 to Bethel. So a pretty even half stat-wise. We got to show you how Grace got here, their path through pool play in the semifinals. So let's show you how Bethel got here. Down 2-0 right now in the finals. How'd they make it here? They swarmed Dallas Christian in the opening game of pool play 13-0. Then they took on Bethesda, a very skillful goal here by Mateus Santiago in a 3-0 win. Jose Barquin and Anu Alamanji had the other goals. That won them Pool A with a plus 16 goal differential. They got to the semifinals, got down 1-0 early, and there Mateus Santiago with an excellent goal to tie it up at 1 apiece. And then, after they'd gone up 2-1, Tim Nading puts a free kick through the wall and into the back of the net to wrap it up 3-1. They topped Erskine in the semis. That's your look at the Pilots of Bethel University, who now have some work to do to come back from a 2-0 deficit thanks to a brace by Felipe Gruber. Gruber, a sophomore from Puerto La Cruz, Venezuela, has come off the bench many a times in this tournament. Started this game, though. A number of different starters for Grace in this game than they had for much of the tournament. Ulysses Miranda, their leading scorer, had actually been a substitute, played lots of minutes, but had been a substitute off the bench for most of the tournament. He started. Jordan Jayapuram also had been a bench option. He's got the start in midfield and has seen a significant amount of the ball. Felipe Gruber, as I mentioned, he is starting this game. So, ringing the changes is head coach Aaron Patrick against his former coach, Tiago Pinto, leading the Bethel University Pilots. Patrick played for Bethel during his collegiate days for Tiago Pinto, taking on his old master. To hammer home the similarities between these two teams, as I mentioned earlier, both from the Crossroads League, and in the Crossroads League tournament, both these teams lost to Spring Arbor at various stages of the tournament 2-1 in overtime. It was Bethel that fell in the semis to Spring Arbor 2-1 in overtime. And then Grace in the finals of the Crossroads League tournament fell to Spring Arbor 2-1 in overtime. We're back underway here in the second half, 45 minutes. One of two things will happen. Either Bethel will find a way back into this game and reassert their dominance as the number one seed, or Grace will hold them off and potentially even pull away and put their hands on the 2020 NCCAA Division I Men's National Championship. Out comes Arnaud Fady to stop that Grace counterattack. Now on the far side, Alamanji. Interesting that the teams have switched sides, but the wingers have not. Or I guess they have. Here's Barkeen. Alamanji stays on the far side despite going right to left as you view it. He'll now go left to right. And Mugala stays here on the near side. First going right to left, and now going left to right. Here's Mugala, loses it at his feet after a good touch from Barkeen. He's bodied to the deck by Gruber. Bethel trying to assert its possessional dominance on the game and create a few chances to see them back level on the scoreline. They have a 2-goal deficit. Nading was going to try and take this this throw quickly. He'll give it up to his fullback on that far side. Alamanji. Good turn. Finds some space. Left-footed cross. Here's Barkeen at the top of the box. It doesn't reach him. Good header away by the Grace defense. Oliveira 1-2. Now he's going to be marshaled out. Good save. Got the ball. Excellent job. Whipped in. Nobody there. It's so difficult for an attacker to try and somehow battle when a defender shields them off the ball as the ball trickles out of play. That was a fabulous tackle by Oliveira to counter that move. Here's a corner. Won by Mugala. Will it be set pieces that get Bethel back in this game? Nading. and McCray Smith are both the options here. Nading fades away. Smith with the left. To the far side, a header! It's still on the deck, and down goes Joe Bowles to smother it. Excellent header by William Dos Santos. Bethel pressing for more. Still looking for a breakthrough on this Grace defense. Alamanji. He has Santiago there. Santiago plays it back to Alamanji. Just can't reach it before it gets to the end line. Bethel trying to snatch this ball back. Grace at the moment controlling in midfield. And it goes out to the Lancers. Mugalo wins it back. Some pressure up front by Tyler Bruckman, who's into the game. Nice move. Arnaud Fady with the ball at his feet. Not something you see from a goalkeeper often. Saw Bruckman go flying by. Skillful turn. Oliveira sends it centrally. Santiago, lot of space in front of him. Bit of a heavy touch, though. Here's it wide. Mugala to Barkeen. Nading thought about swinging at that one. Instead, he just settles it. Ellis Jones wide. Six minutes gone by here in this second half. Bethel beginning to turn the screw, but here's Grace to try and relieve the pressure. They win a corner. Just a speculative little ball forward, and the flick gets it off the foot of William Dos Santos for a corner. Left-footed delivery. It's there at the penalty spot, but flicked away by Ontiveros. Jay Apuram, or that's TJ White, yes, TJ White actually. Took a swing at that. Mora. Johnny Mora swings it into the box. McCray Smith has it at his feet. Bethel settling possession once again. Nading. Nading has been forced to come back a number of times in midfield to try and collect possession and move forward. Here's Alamanji. What can he do to get around a defender? Just cuts into the middle. Tried to feed Santiago up front. Taken away by the Lancers. Now this is just a scuffed pass to Ellis Jones. Oh, well done by Mora after he made that mistake to come back and win the ball right back. That's what you love to see as a coach. Mistakes happen all the time on the ball. When you see a player try to instantly correct his mistake and win the ball back for your team, that shows a high level of effort and soccer IQ. Santiago dragged back just a little bit by Jayapuram, who jumps in front of that ball. They take it quickly still. Nading. Flicked it for Santiago. That's going to be a corner. I thought for a moment the referee had pointed to goal kick. I thought surely not. Nading will be the one to take this with his right foot on the far side. Plenty of blue shirts in the box. That one, I think, got away from him. Yet he looks at the ground like maybe there was a divot or something there by the corner flag. Barkeen dives in. Now Grace on the break. It's 2-on-4. Still looking for help. Still an opening, though. Here's reinforcements. Jayapuram sends it wide. Now with the left foot, there's a shot! Oh, it squirted through the legs of Arnaud Fady. A third goal has put Grace firmly in control of this game. A low-line drive just snuck its way in at the near post. Nothing more than a speculative effort that maybe was hoping for a rebound, but any time you make the goalkeeper work, there's a chance something good can happen. And suddenly Bethel is in a significant hole. Now's the sense of urgency from the Pilots. Stepping in and snatching it is Oliveira. He's going to charge forward. He finds Nading in a lot of space. He's got options. And I'm not sure which option that was meant for. Jones wide. Alamanji. Left-footed cross. Headed away. This Grace defense has stood tall to every task. There was just one real opening for this Bethel attack so far in this game, and it was Barkeen who put it wide. Nothing more than half chances other than that. Nading, who's come very deep to collect possession. Ten minutes gone by in this second half. And Grace has a massive advantage, up 3-0. There'll be a foul here. High five for the two parties involved, and Bethel will have a chance from a decent distance out. We've seen goals from further in this tournament. Think back to Fraser Whitman of Randall in the pool play for the men's Division II tournament. Scored from a good 15 yards further out. Here they take it short, and it's turned away. Grace on the break. This time it's 2-on-3. Gunshavish had to come back from an offside position, and there you see the flag goes up. He was not able to get all the way back on side. Gunshavish may have said some things that the referee wasn't too happy about. So he has some words with the Portuguese attacker. 33 minutes exactly on the clock. Oh, nope, now they put 33-14. Smith. McCray Smith has come weaving his way up from his fullback position. Good effort from distance. That one was one of the better shots we've seen from Bethel tonight. Ellis Smith put his foot through it. Actually, that was Santiago. Now they get a turnover. Barkeen, can he make amends? What a save! Joe Bowles turns Jose Barkeen away. Corner coming. Take another look at that as it was Mugala with the turnover. Barkeen looked like at the last second he tried to change his mind on where to go with that. He was looking at the top left corner of the goal, and then at the last second made the change to go top right and never fully adjusted. That gave Bowles the chance to make a reflex save. Santiago tried to get tricky and gives it away. Had very little help trying to get around 2, maybe 3 defenders. Nading. Steps it to his left. Ellis Jones. It's deflected to the far side. Nading tries to give chase. Gruber. He's got 2 of the 3 Grace goals. Up the middle. Back to Gruber. Now to the right. Konchavish. Left-footed cross sent deep into the box. There was one option there, but turned away by Oliveira. Santiago snatches this for Bethel. What can they produce on the break? Right now it's 3-on-4 with one more defender trailing. And here's Mugala trailing the play as well. He gets the ball from Nading. Curls a shot in towards Bowles, who fumbles it, then collects. Bethel again beginning to turn the screw. And now we have an injury on the far side. That is Alamanji, who looks to be maybe having some cramps. Some good sportsmanship here from Grace. Although sometimes the player doesn't always know how to provide medical treatment. When it's a cramp, though, just got to stretch it out. Just over a half hour left to play. Bethel's goal-scoring prowess means they are by no means out of this game, but it is Mount Everest to climb right now against what has been so far a rock-solid Lancer defense. Santiago trying to hold on to possession under heavy pressure. Mugala keeps it in play. Oliveira in support. Tries to tap it back to Mugala. Blocks the clearance. Out of reach. Into the game for Bethel is Luan Bresci. That's Bresci in the 17 shirt, who was up there trying to reach that ball from Mugala. Grace just playing keep away right now as they try to milk precious seconds off. Johnny Mora looking for Gonçalves up front. Bresci out wide. Turns around one defender, still hounded. Still with the ball at his feet. Now it's snatched away. heads hanging for Bethel every time the ball's given away. They know how valuable each one of these opportunities is. Gruber, who's on a hat trick in this game. What a moment and a story that would be. If Gruber to again cash in front of goal. Cycling it around the back line. Flavio Cruz has played significant minutes in this game for Grace along the back. Here's Cruz on the ball now. The left side of that three center back formation. Grace turning and moving. That's Miranda. He feeds Jayapuram. Chance to shoot. Doesn't take it. First steps to his right. Here's Gunshavish. Steps to his left. Shot. Saved, then spilled. It's 4. Grace is running riot. Every counterattack is producing a valuable moment. And with 28 minutes to go, the Lancers of Grace College are on their way. Ulysses Miranda, the man to tap it home. After the Gunshavish shot was stopped. Deep free kick. Header by Dos Santos. He's a dangerous presence there in the box on set pieces. Just gets it to Bowles. And here's a corner. Fady having some trouble commanding his box. The NCCAA network is powered by SCORE International. SCORE specializes in short-term mission trips. Pair your passion with the opportunity to share the gospel both internationally and domestically by joining SCORE on a short-term mission trip. Visit scoreintl.org/NCCAA to find out more. It's taken somewhat short. Over to Gruber. Here's Gunshavish. Jayapuram. Deflection comes to Fady. Every ball forward for Bethel is cut out. Every counter forward for Grace is finding danger. Is a goal kick. To say this 4-0 scoreline was not what we expected would be an understatement. You just have to look back at the last time these two teams played. Foul will go the way of Grace. It's a 1-0 scoreline back in Crossroads League play during the regular season. Stop the clock here for Grace College player, and as soon as the clock is stopped, suddenly he's okay. But these two teams played to a 1-0 result in favor of Bethel earlier this year. If you told me this game would finish 4-0 to either party before we had started, I would have been shocked. But especially given how we've seen Bethel play in this tournament so far. Near perfect defensive unit and a dangerous attack. To give you another understatement, to say that Grace has played well in this game would be selling them short. They have hit on every task. Just go down the list of keys to the game, and you can check every box. Jose Barquin up front for Bethel has been a lonely figure in this game. He's had the two best chances for the Pilots. Unable to cash in on either of them, and that has been it. This Bethel team, this will tell you the story of the game. Bethel leads in the shot count 14-9, but trails in the shots on goal tally 7-6. And even that doesn't quite give you the full story. This would be a game where the new statistic that has gained a foothold in soccer analysis, expected goals, would be a much better tool to give you an idea of how this game has gone. And that is a frustration foul by Bethel. You can see tempers flaring for Bethel on the field right now. The referee may have a busy final 22 minutes of this game. And that is another one. Jose Barquin just lunges into a defender. He gets a yellow card for that. That's about the easiest decision the referee will have to make. Just throwing his body at a Grace defender. Jayapuram. Mora. Another slide in. That one was much more accurate by Ellis Jones. Stops that attacking move, but it's a Lancer throw. Good little looping throw here for Gonçalves. Now Nading to carry it forward. Good distribution by the freshman, Tim Nading. Hails from Germany. Santiago on the far side. It's out to the Lancers. The Grace bench was all over that. Headed forward by Flavio Cruz. Another coming together. Now Gonçalves is on the ball. Sends the cross to the far side. I think that's Miranda he was looking for. You can hear instructions from the Bethel bench repeatedly saying, pass the ball. Teams get frustrated like this and they start booting it forward. That is not their style. This sent in between the pair of Bresci and Barkeen. Here's Ellis Jones. Bethel looking for something to get them back in this game, but with 20 minutes and a 4-0 deficit, suddenly the clock becomes a major factor. Alamanji chips it in. Barkeen does not trail. Alamanji ducks under that headed attempt by Cruz, almost gained possession by doing so. Wonderful flick by Gonçalves. That sends Cruz through. His through ball is not the right delivery. Excellent counterattack again from Grace, just not the final ball that time. Barkeen with his first touch in what feels like forever. They try to play Santiago through. Grace, as they have been all night, are up to the task of that Bethel attack. And now they go the other way. Gonçalves, he's got an overlap to his left in Mora. He decides to go into the middle instead. Left-footed whip is deflected out for a corner. That's Miranda with the shot. Mugala comes back into the game for Bethel. Takes off McCray Smith. That's a fullback for a winger. Little bit more of attacking talent on the field for Bethel. Every little bit matters now with just 18 minutes to go and a mountain to climb for the Pilots. Left-footed corner is a looper headed well wide. Good tackle by Grace, stops that Bethel counter. Mugala wants to take it quick. This Bethel team has a massive sense of urgency at the moment, and understandably so. Every second makes a big difference. At some point, the 4-0 deficit becomes untenable. Nading snatches this away. Mugala dancing around. Past two defenders, now he sends a pass into Barkeen. This Grace defense just continues to stand tall. Mugala again, they're going to work in from the left. Can't get through 2 defenders that time. And Chavish has to get to Miranda before the flag goes up. He couldn't do it. The ball was just bobbling at his feet. He scrambled to send that pass into Miranda before he ended up offside, and it was just a hair too late. Alamanji, they're going to try down the right this time. Bethel has had nothing through the middle of the attack, so they're trying to pummel the wings here with 16 minutes to go. Jones. Big boot to the right. He was looking for Alamanji, I think, and it was just mishit. Nading charges, and it goes out. Substitution coming. With 15 and a half to go, a pair of Lancers will come in. Gonchavish makes way, so does Miranda. Chopping and changing this attack. Believe that's Bruckman who's back in here on the near side. Blake Burns is also on the field. Mugala collects that, and now Bethel will push forward again. Bethel has been knocking on the door all game, and no one is answering. Right-footed shot just skitters wide. Bowles thought about tipping that away just in case, but at the last second pulled his arms back and let it go left. Central Christian College of the Bible is now offering the Master of Arts in Ministry Leadership at its Missouri and Kentucky campuses. This very affordable and distinctive program combines online career coaching and an on-campus course to enhance personal leadership skills and lead congregations towards health. Now's the time to advance your ministry. Find out more at cccb.edu. Bresci dancing around. He wins a throw. Grace is just happy to pop the ball out of play at every possible opportunity because it takes another 5 seconds to recover. Bresci weaving through defenders. Has the opportunity to loop a right-footed shot in. Comes a little close, but it was deflected. So, a corner. Taking it quickly. Barkeen is down there to take this corner. He's just the closest one. That's how they have to do it at this point. Who's closest? You're taking it. Barkeen with the right foot. It's an absolute laser beam. Sent out by the Lancers. That is frustration and adrenaline from Jose Barkeen on that corner. Jones up ahead, nading. Mugala on his left. Can't get it past the goalkeeper, Joe Bowles, who has been a brick wall tonight. Bowles has made 6 saves in this game. He's faced 15 Bethel shots. Only 6 of them on frame, and he's stopped all 6. Oliveira. Grace has a bit of space here to work with on the counter. Here's Mora. What will Mora do? Will he just go to the corner flag with 12 minutes to go? No, he cycles it back into the middle. Pacelon. Switch of play. Nice touch. Sends it down for White. And Grace recycles. Ontiveros with a foul. All he could do after losing the ball there. And a dangerous set piece for Grace. If 4-0 didn't have it wrapped up, 5 most certainly would. See what they can produce from this set piece. You can bet your britches they're going to take as long as they possibly can. And understandably so. Right-footed blast is into that two-man wall for Bethel. Up 4-0. Grace is pressing like it's the first 15 minutes of the game. 11 on the clock. The Lancers through the defense, centralized, still there, and now Bethel comes away with it. That's good last-ditch defending. On the counter, just gets stuck at the feet of Santiago. It's still with the Pilots. Mugala. He's been locked down all evening on that left wing. Down the left. Scuffed cross. It does end up reaching Jose Barquin, but finally cleared. Nading still with him. Man on from behind. He has to hit the panic button on the ball. His looper down the right for Alamanji is stolen away. We've got a stoppage in play. Another cramp down the left for Bethel. Things just not going their way. Clock stopped with 9:36 to go. They'll get the training staff out just to deal with this cramp. What a comprehensive performance by Grace this has been. That is Ellis Jones, who is cramping up on the far side. He looks like he's recovered at least enough to finish the last 9.5. We'll see if he needs to be replaced or not. Looks like they have a sub ready. He may just have to come off and back on. No, they're going to make the change, at least for now. Into the game is Rolfson Clairvoy. I've been corrected by the pronunciation guide. It's pronounced Clairvoy. Rolfson Clairvoy from Queens, New York. Dos Santos with a poke. And the clearance. Here's Mugala. Tries to keep it in and does. Around one defender. Another is charging. Flavio Cruz. He puts it out. The Pilots starting to feel the inevitability of this game. Squirts through the feet of Mugala. All he's able to do is save it by the corner flag. Foul here on Cruz. Actually, that's whistled on Mugala. Here's an opportunity to get on the board. It gets stuck at the feet of Anu Alamanji. And again, another chance for Bethel is left on the field. That is quite the boot from the goalkeeper, Joe Bowles. Up the left. Bruckman tried to send it into the middle. Here's a corner for Grace. Number of substitutions in this game. Ellis Jones is back on. Looks like Tim Nading is going to give way. Goalkeeper change for Bethel. Maybe Franklin Joyce in net. Couple of substitutions. We'll see how many of them we can spot for you. Both teams really emptying the bench here, maybe going for some experience given the heavy scoreline. Barquin, heavy touch. Just has not happened today for Jose Barquin, the senior from Mexico up front. Alex Vandiat is in for Grace. Yeah, in goal is Franklin Joyce, a junior from Virginia for Bethel. Mitchell Strasser, I think, is in for Grace as well. He's in midfield. 6 minutes to play. Bethel just looking for something to savor in this game. Every entry feed that is turned away by the Grace defense is met with frustration from the midfielders for Bethel. Understandably, it has been a frustrating evening for the Pilots in a tournament they otherwise dominated. More substitutions coming in. Another replacement for Grace. It's Kyle Smith at the back for Grace College. He played significant minutes to start this tournament, but has seen most of this game on the bench. Pumped forward by David Koch. Jones. Oliveira sends it across, snatched away by TJ White. The redshirt junior from London has one possession here for the Lancers. Nice little cut up the right. And it's recycled. Smith all the way back to the goalkeeper in Bowles. Barquin gives chase. The substitute Clairvoix was fouled. Bethel will get a free kick here. We'll see if they just hammer it deep. Ellis Jones standing over it. Jones has been on the field for almost the entirety of this game for the Pilots. Sent deep, turned away, lashed at. That was close by Barkeen. But again, it just has not been happening for the Bethel striker. Two and a half to go. It's just bookkeeping at this point. Corner for Bethel. Taken quickly and sent in back to midfield so that Ellis Jones can snatch at this one. It's into the side netting. In the air. Here is Clairvoix out to the right. Oliveira. The Pilots would love something to savor from this game. With it just about all going against them for most of the 90 minutes. Miranda happy to poke it out. 1:11 now on the clock. A big whiff, and here's a chance to send in a cross. It's stolen away. A microcosm there of Bethel's evening. And now a counterattack opportunity. Checked back by Talamis. And it's a foul by Talamis here to Bethel. Under a minute to go. Grace College with a comprehensive performance. 4-0. The score with just 30 seconds to go. The 2 seed emphatically topping the 1 seed. The Grace fans here on the near side can feel it. Every touch is cheered. Start the celebration. That ball sent across. The Lancers have done it. 4-0, a resounding victory. And Grace College, after 14 appearances in this tournament, they have won their first NCCAA Men's Division I National Championship. From the first minute to the final whistle, the Lancers were in control. Felipe Gruber with a brace to lead things off, and then goals by Cedric Brenneman and Ulysses Miranda finished things off. For the 1 seed Bethel, it was just a difficult day. Nothing went their way. Here's the score of the game presented by Score International. It's the first goal that set them on their way. Felipe Gruber buried it with his right foot into the back of the net. That stunned the Pilots, but it was really the second goal from Gruber that sent shockwaves through the number 1 seed. All told, 4-0. Your score of the game presented by Score International SCORE specializes in short-term mission trips. Pair your passion with the opportunity to share the gospel both internationally and domestically by joining SCORE on a short-term mission trip. Visit scoreintl.org/NCCAA to find out more. 15 shots for the Pilots, just 6 of them on target, and really just 2 of those shots were of any consequence for Bethel. They both fell to Jose Barquin. The first big miss really set the tone when it was 1-0. The goal was gaping. He got a perfect pass from Anu Alamanji on the wing and just could not bury it in the back of the net on the break. 1-on-1. First touch, he put it wide. Barquin then in the second half had another right-footed chance with the goal mouth wide open, and instead he put it in a place where Joe Bowles could make an enormous save. I believe the game was 3-0 at that point. 2 big moments in this game. Otherwise, for Bethel, nothing doing up front. This defensive unit for the Lancers was up to the task every single time the Pilots tried to go 1-on-1. It ended up 1-on-2. Every cross into the box was headed away. Nearly every attacking move was denied. The Grace Lancers, by a 4-0 scoreline, the second seed in this tournament, wins the NCCAA Division I Men's Soccer National Championship. For all of our crew this entire week, thank you for joining us. I'm Kyle Bond here on the NCCAA Network.